Happy NBA here on a Wednesday. We're going to preview Thursday shows. Again, we're trying to keep this a day ahead for you to help you with your handicapping, give you time to lock everything in. Again, go over to breaktheboardsports.com. 6-1 last night with all of our YouTube members, 8-2 for the week with some stuff pending. Now, Thursday's going to feature three really good games and some elimination points. All of them, elimination possibilities. Now, the New York Knicks, they got the win last night against the Hawks. We gave out that money line parlay with them and the Spurs. Now the Knicks go back to hot Atlanta, laying 1.5. 213.5 is the total here. 83% of the bet, 90% of the handle going over that 213.5. 17% of ticket count, equaling 10% of the handle going under the 213.5. I lean under here off the jump. Now, the Knicks getting 78% of bets, 90% of the handle. But again, it's early day for this. So that could change. You can always message me on YouTube here, and I'll give you an update on where the splits are for this one. Now, the Knicks have won back to back games, and they've won them convincingly by 16 and by 29, and have all of a sudden made the Atlanta Hawks look like, they're normalized again. Hawks were playing kind of crazy over their heads for a while. Now, when you look at this, much more starting to settle into what we thought it would be for the series. Now, when you look at the New York Knicks, obviously, Carl Anthony Towns has been excellent. Brunson, he's had a little bit of a difficult time here, but even still, the Knicks have a chance to end this. They're 8-3 straight up. Their last 11 games, 8-2 against the spread over their last 10. And the Knicks have really dominated the Hawks. They've beat them 8 out of 11, and they've covered 4 of the last 6 versus Atlanta. Knicks on the road, 4-1 their last 5 times when they're on the road at Atlanta. Knicks have also dominated the Eastern Conference, 13-4 of their last 17. Now the Hawks just 3-6 its last 9, 3-6 ATS its last 9. But the Hawks, they haven't did well against the Knicks, right? We just said that. The Knicks have beaten them 4 out of 5 times in Atlanta, but the Hawks are 15-2 their last 17 at home. I just don't see him losing back-to-back games in Atlanta when you're 15-2. Now, the last time they were there, again, the Knicks beat them by 16. I'd given the Knicks out in that game there on the spread, so that got home. So been a winner with the past 2 games of this series. I think by game time, you're going to see a 2.5 appear. If that happens 100%, I think you really got to go to the way of the Atlanta Hawks. I just think this thing, I've said it from the beginning after the first game of this series. And after I watched these 2 teams, I said to myself, listen, this thing is headed to a game 7. Uh, you could just see the writing on the wall for this series. So I want to keep my stance there. Next game that's going to be on Thursday, the Boston Celtics. Now, they had a chance to get rid of the 76ers, but this one continues to go on now. Boston laying 5.5, 212.5 is the total. Again, a lot of love for the over quick out the gates. 83% of bets, 72% of the handle going over, 17% of ticket count, 28% of the handle going under 212.5. Celtics, 72% of bets, 90% of the handle going their way. As to where the Philadelphia 76ers, 28% of bets, 10% of the handle going their way. Now, Boston here won the first game of the series by 32, and you were like, this thing's going to be over quick. Then the Sixers wheel back, win by 14. Then the Celtics win a close one in Philly, 108-100. And then game 4 in Philly, when the Celtics won by over 30 again, won by 32, you're like, all right, the Celtics are up 3-1. This one's done. They're going to finish in game 5. And then the 76ers come back, and just like they did in game 2 in Boston, they come back in game 5 and do the same thing. Very concerning. And I'm a diehard Boston fan. Just don't like what I see from the Celtics. I mean, one day I'm like, there's no way they're not going to the finals. It's just a matter of who they play in the finals. And then the next day I'm like, you're pissing around with Philadelphia here. Like, I get it, Maxey and Embiid and all that. With that being said, I can't really see Philly being able to double up this performance. Boston has beaten them 4 of the last 6 meetings head to head. The other thing is, I will give it to the 76ers. They are now 46, 41-1 against the spread here. But you got to think, how's the game break down? Is it a close game? Is this the thing Boston just kind of runs away with like they have a couple other times when Phillies won the game? Boston 15-5 their last 20, 11-5 ATS their last 16. But the 76ers are 6-3 against the spread against Celtics. Despite that, the Celtics 11-5 the last 16 head-to-head matchups with Philly. Boston's also beaten Philly in Philly 6 of the last 7. Now, the 76ers, again, you got to give it to them. They keep covering 5-7 ATS their last 7. Both of these teams really looking towards the under. 7 of the last 10 games that the 76ers have played in have went under the total. 7 of the last 8 head-to-head meetings have went under the total. And 5 of Philly's last 6 games have went under the total. And 5 of Boston's last 6 games have went under the total. So with that being said, that's why you're getting the low total, but everybody and their mother's on the over. For me, it would be under or nothing here. I also am a big fan of Boston. Look, they're minus 215 on the money line. I know that's high, but I like Boston money line in this thing. I'm not interested in laying points. I'll see what's going on in hockey or whatever. Again, you can even, as we sit here, this is a Wednesday. You could even sit here and say, okay, I like the Cleveland Cavaliers to win on Wednesday. I like the Boston Celtics to end this thing on Thursday. 2-team parlays minus $1.23. I think that gives you a significant value to be able to go that way. But for me, that's the way I would go for this game. Next game on the board, and the last one that we're going to end with, the Denver Nuggets at the Minnesota Timberwolves. And how this series has changed. T-Wolves up 3-1, but now the Nuggets, they really got a clear path here. Anthony Edwards is out. DiVincenzo is out. And Dunzy and company, you got to look at it and be like, okay, how much can Minnesota really keep this going? Now, Denver's laying 5.5, 224.5 is the total, but sharp money's appearing. I'm going to show you where. 63% of the bet, 68% of the handle going over, 37% of ticket count, 32% of the handle under. Now, when you look at the side, the Nuggets, 55% of the ticket count compared to 45% of the T-Wolves. Okay, makes sense, 50-50 action. But that 55% of tickets is only equaling 23% of the handle on the Nuggets. 45% of ticket count equaling 77% of the handle is on the Minnesota Timberwolves here. Now, the T-Wolves, again, no Edwards, no DiVincenzo, but Denver won by 12. The T-Wolves have won 3 of the last 4 of the last 6 against the Denver Nuggets here. And when I look at this game, listen, I know everybody's going to be on the same path. Minnesota's the limping wounded. They're done. Nuggets are going to take them. And maybe that's true. But the best shot that you're going to get from the Minnesota Timberwolves is going to be in Game 6 at home with that crowd. Now, the Nuggets, 14-3 over their last 17. But the T-Wolves have beaten the Nuggets 10 of the last 15 and 5 of the last 7 in Minnesota. So the T-Wolves are no joke there. They're 7-2 ATS against the Western Conference overall. Listen, the T-Wolves know their best shot is in Game 6. I think the Nuggets win somehow, some way, but the T-Wolves +6, that's the play. RJ Cash Cole, Break the Board Sports, giving you stats, trends, information, help you with your handicap. Whether you fade or follow, hope you win your bets. God bless and happy handicapping.